That's actually today. Hey guys, welcome to the Gamers podcast, and my name is CHRONOZ, and I'm here with my co-host, Brian DRAYSON. What's going on, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
And I'm here with a really cool guy and his beautiful wife, and I want to, you know what? I met him from work, and we talked some good horror stuff, and got involved in what we do, and we got a great show for you guys tonight, and we got horror hang time here with us. What's going on, guys?
Hey,
Hey, how's it
how's it
going?
going?
So, go ahead. You guys want Joe? Joe, of course, is that's my guy from work. And what's your name? Both
Emily?
Emily, and Joe. So, how you guys doing today?
Doing all right. How are you?
I'm actually a little nervous now all of a sudden. I just always feel like that at the start of every time I do it. This is episode 84 since we started early, right when the pandemic had started last year. It started in April, and now we're like swinging around, and hopefully, we'll be into episode 100 by next April. But either way, let's get down to all the good business, and this is the perfect time for Halloween's around the corner. It's on, what is it, Sunday. And either way, I wanted to get to know more about your horror hang time, and how. Tell us about horror hang time and how did it all begin? How did it start? From the beginning. If anyone
Well,
can.
he is a he's a big horror fan. When we first started dating, he would fall asleep listening to scary stories, which would drive me bananas. I mean, I am such a chicken, and he knows that. And he would just like be listening to the most god awful, horrific things, and then be knocked out. And I would just be sitting there like, "Oh, fantastic. Okay, this is what I want to listen to." And I'm such a baby. And so, I mean, it's been a couple years now, and he's like, "Look, I'd come home from work and there would be something awful on TV, and I would like just go to our room." He'd be like, "I want to spend time with you," and I'm like, "I can't, I can't do that. I can't." Um, but so eventually, we just, I was like, "Okay, I know this is something you're passionate about. I'd like to be involved with it, but I'm just such a chicken." So, talking to other people, talking to friends who are also huge chickens, we came to the consensus that, there should be kind of not so much a guide, but like a review for, something beyond the Wikipedia, something beyond, oh, well, this is what happens in this movie. So, we decided to make something for the chicken and for the huge horror nut so that people can like listen about the movie and go, is this something I want to, watch, or is this something I'm like, oh, no, not so much. Um, and so who decided to start the
It
podcast?
was me.
It was
I
you.
I actually was just like, I really want to start a podcast. Let's do that. And but I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do at first, and then you actually came up with the idea to do the whole
Hmm.
horror movie
Yeah.
review. And so we started looking around at different podcasts for different horror movies to see if there was anything like that out there where it would give a perspective from two different people. But the only things that we really found were people just reviewing the movie, and then we also found another couple doing it, but they were both horror movie fans, so it still thought it was, like, unique enough to where we could do it and then have it be pretty
It's still
good.
kind of interesting how you bring, you guys bring in. You're the ones more into it, and she's kind of getting involved in it, and you got to help her out to feel, what you're feeling. So I like that mix. Go ahead and continue.
Um, at first, like, she didn't really wanna do it. She was, like, really skeptical about it just because of the horror movie and, like, the different kinds of horror movies that
I
we
was
would
like, look, I've watched like 5 horror movies in my entire life. I don't know about this.
so it then we just, like, we did a little bit of a trial run with, the movie Disturbia, which was supposed to be a horror movie, but to me, it's not that scary,
I thought it was scary.
but so we just kinda gave it a little bit of a dry run to see how it would work out and see if it's something that we both could handle and something that would, take off, and it did. So,
So you guys, how many episodes do you have so far?
we have
30, 40?
no,
No.
13.
30.
30, 40, close enough. Close, close.
like 13
It's just like
episodes.
We've meant we've meant to do a lot more. I've got like in my phone notes app is just a hot mess. I've got like movies we need to watch, movies we have watched, partial reviews, topics for the future, and it's just getting to the point of watching the movie and then sitting down to write the review and then recording. It's a lot. Like it doesn't sound like a lot, but sometimes it's too much.
I
We've also
I've heard some of the episodes, and I actually thought that's like these guys are kind of cute. They're sweet, you know. It's just kind of like just hearing you guys talk, but it's interesting just hearing both perspectives. And so real quick, as people are listening, if you look in the description right now, as we are live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and you'll see in the description the Twitter group for the for Horror Hang Time, the Instagram for Horror Hang Time, and also for Podcast Apple. You'll see right there. All links are there, just so you guys know, for everyone who are watching. So you were gonna say, Joe?
but please don't laugh at our Twitter account because I don't know how to Twitter.
Well, we're gonna
Yeah,
teach you how
I'm
to
the
Twitter.
social media manager for Instagram. He's for Twitter, and it just big difference.
Yeah, we're gonna have to work on that, Joe, and but yeah, that's the thing. I got plenty of people. Like if you post anything moving forward, I will retweet every single tweet you do. If you
There
got
you
something
go.
there, I will do that because it will give out to, because I got a lot of friends who are into horror movies and games and things like that. So that will help that out. So if you want to start looking at the media, you know what you want to do. Twitter is the best spot right now. Even on my Instagram too. You know, like in each of them, I have like over what 2,500 or so on each. So you'll have a good audience there who, for some of my friends who might want to listen to you. So that's what I want to bring you guys here, and let's continue and we'll grow all together. So anything else you wanted to say for the next question? Keep going.
Well, I mean, the first it kind of happened like kind of towards Halloween too, because like when we first started, and so we thought, well, what better than a first episode than actually do the Halloween movie? So
Oh,
that's
the first one, was that the very first one?
yeah, the very first one,
Was that the
the John
1984?
Carpenter original.
How's it?
That was our first episode, and it took us like a few tries to record it.
We recorded it probably 4 or 5 times.
Hmm.
We started recording the first, like, the little intro, probably a dozen, just because we'd be going through it and then be like, "Okay, wait, stop." Or we going through it again, "Okay, wait, stop." It was terrible. We're not really that much better now. We'll get halfway through the intro and I go, "Okay, wait, no, the vibe's off. We gotta stop." It's it's the getting starting that just it sucks sometimes.
But then once we start talking
And
and
then we don't shut up. And
yeah,
then what should be a 25-minute episode is an hour 20.
yeah,
It's really bad.
we really only meant it to be like a 30-minute, 20,
Yeah.
30-minute like podcast every week, and then it ended up being 45 minutes, an hour. Who knows how long the next one's gonna be?
I know. The point was like, there's like 3 hours, some long episodes of podcasts. And I was like, that's annoying. Nobody wants to listen to that. And then we just can't shut up.
Well, you guys
So
get
now
into
we're
it.
annoying.
You guys get into it, and just like here, right? When you go live, it's for me it's a lot different. At first, I'm like, okay, I know it might start off this way, but then conversation just kind of grows and it just flows as it keeps going. I always start off feeling like I'm about to start getting sweaty, and then whether we're having the how do you say who did we have in the past? We had the man, people that really made me feel beyond nervous was the creator Roger Rabbit, or I think was that the CEO, the older CEO of Sega, and it was just kind of like whoa. It just as we got used to keep still doing the podcast, it got easier. But that's how it'll happen more, as you guys keep doing what you're doing, and you put it in, whether it's on Instagram or Twitter, I'm going to be retweeting or re-showing these things. Someone's going to, because I'm going to have to make sure I do the follow. Meaning, like, how do you say it? What do you call it? That bell, or hit the bell. That way I catch everything you do. And that's what I do to all the people who I have on the podcast. So, it's going to be nerve-wracking, especially if you guys are invited November 13th. You guys are invited that day. You guys can, I told Joe about it. He might have told you about doing the voice of Andy from Toy Story. Invite you guys in. That will be nervous for all of us, even for myself, because that's something that I feel like sometimes I'm still getting used to it, but it'll just
Still
like
get
for
the
a few
butterflies.
seconds, few minutes, then we'll just kind of
Yeah.
enjoy, from there. But anyways, let's move on. I kind of get it now, but my question was, who scares more than the other? I think you guys kind of told us. She does. Do you ever try to scare her sometimes? Like maybe you just you're hiding
Oh, I
somewhere.
do.
Yeah.
I do.
Not even intentionally. I can't tell you how many times I'll be like, he'll put our son to bed and it'll be his turn to stay in there until he falls asleep. And I'll be out here in the living room, doing whatever, just zoning out, looking at my phone, whatever. And he'll just walk around the corner and I'll scream or jump or like fall to the floor. It's embarrassing. It's terrible. I'm like,
Didn't that happen
That's
last
you
night?
gotta
no,
expect that from Joe. I
I
mean,
swear it happened last night.
it was the night before. But yeah, it's terrible. I'm like, here's this man that I've known for how long that I'm aware we live together and I'll see him and I just, oh God, like, what is that? What is wrong with me?
you gotta get him back somehow. You have to figure
I
something out.
know,
It's
I
time to
know.
scare Joe. Let's see. Oh yeah, tell me about because I love the theme song and it's spooky and it's scary. So how did that happen? Like, where did that idea come from? Or
So
and also the logo,
sorry,
the
sorry to cut you
logo.
off. I like to think that I'm a songwriter. I'm not. I'm not. I just make up random stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I can do this. I got this. And I've I can't say every song, but nearly every song I started writing turned into something that was either already written or it sounded awful and it was like, what is that? So you turn to your friend?
Well, first I was like, well, let's see if we can find some like
Yeah.
copyright free, like free to use music to see if we could find anything that would kind of fit what we were doing. And then I remember it popped into my head. I'm like, well, my friend John was a musician in high school and we kind of jammed together for a little bit. I wonder if he would maybe, write something for us. So I messaged him on Facebook and he got back to me like next day and he's like, yeah, sure, man. I'll bring it. Like, how soon do you want? I was like, maybe next week if that's cool. He's like, yeah, sure, sure. I was like, I'll have some samples for you. And lo and behold, that's that intro that I gave you is what we ended up deciding to use.
Yeah, it just brings that vibe in. Does that always make sure like you start it. I don't know if before or after, however you guys want to use it, but yeah, I like using it a lot too. But
Oh,
especially
yeah.
when I start certain parts of the podcast. I mean, for today, I prepared another video. We'll play later. It's really good. It actually gets scared a little bit if I think about it, because that's what you wanted to bring out. We got to feel that. Any questions at the moment you have for them, Ryan?
Sorry.
Any questions at the moment do you have for them?
Yeah, like I don't know kind of what more you might have to ask them, but I guess I would kind of like lead towards kind of transitioning to the sort of paranormal experiences that we've had or that anyone has had. So like start with asking
we're gonna jump into
what are
that
your
right now. So go ahead.
so like what are sort of like the most memorable horror related experiences that you've each had, but like in real life? And it could be like a good like Halloween memory or just something that went on in normal everyday life. I guess I would ask that.
Definitely. I know we both have those. You want to start off?
I had one when I was really little. This isn't the one I told you. Um, well, I think I did tell you, but I didn't really go into depth about it. I was really little, and it was the house I grew up in. There was a entity, or I called it a ghost at the time, and he would take my stuff, and whenever I would ask to get it back, it would always be on, like, the countertop table, and then one night, uh, I was sitting in the living room, and it was a duplex house, so I was in the upstairs living room, and the door to the hallway to go downstairs opened by itself and closed all the way by itself, and it wasn't
Wow.
did that.
Well, can you repeat that last part? Looks like you cut off for a second.
Um, which part?
The last 20 seconds. Yeah, it looks like the volume went off.
Oh,
I can hear you
so
now.
I was sitting in the upstairs living room, and the door to the hallway going downstairs opened and closed all the way by itself, and there was no windows open or anything, and I was just kind of sitting there by myself watching TV.
That sounds pretty
Yeah.
like that sounds pretty paranormal to me. That's
and
I'd be freaking out. Like, yeah, I'd be.
it was of course nighttime, and there was nobody else really home besides downstairs, and it just it freaked me out at the time, but I learned at a really early age just leave it alone. Like, don't bring it up. But I always like telling that story because it was like one of the earliest memories I have, and then it was also one of the coolest just because the ghost would interact with me a lot by taking my stuff and bringing it back, and we would also play like kind of hide and seek because it was a little bit of a shadow going around, and so we would lay there and at night, and I'd see with like the lights off and like one in where it caused a lot of shadows. There's like one light on, and there would be like a little shadow, and I would just kind of play hide and seek with it. It was really fun.
Oh, really?
It didn't really scare me a lot. This it was friendly.
Okay. Let's see. So do you, how many whenever you want to get to the one that we recorded, let me know, and then we're gonna play that clip. So if you have any other ones you want to go before that, or do you want to play the clip?
Yeah, I do. I grew up in a 100-year-old farmhouse, and so, I mean, it's like there's bound to be spirits there, and there were. The original owner actually died in what became the laundry room, so that's a bit of a, ugh. Um, but so one of the ones that, well, there was something. I don't want to say there was something wrong with the plumbing, but the toilet would like nobody would be near the bathrooms. The toilets would just flush, or the sink would just turn on for a second. And you're like, okay, yeah, whatever. It's an old house, and my uncle would he wasn't a plumber by trade, but he'd kind of learned as he'd gone along, and he would do that on the side as a side business. And he came over after, a year or two of living there, and he was like, "All right, you know what? Let me take care of this. Let me see if there's something going on." Couldn't find anything. So, it was just like, "All right, ghosts gotta poop too, I guess." Um, and then let's see another one. I was probably 6 or 7 at the time, and I was, in my bedroom asleep, and I something came flying out of my closet, and it, like, hit the wall, like, kind of next to me, but not entirely, like,
Sure that
next to me,
wasn't
next to
Joe?
me, like,
Wait,
a
when
little
was
bit.
it? When did that happen?
I was probably 7 or 8,
Oh, okay,
so
sorry. I thought it was like
good
recent.
while ago.
Joe throwing.
Something came flying out of my closet, hit the wall, and I was like, for some reason, I was like, "Oh, it's my cat." But, it just didn't click with me that I was like, "No, your door's closed and he's downstairs." Um, and so, I sat there for a little bit and I was like, "Okay, no, that's not right." So I got up and I turned on my light and I couldn't see anything. And I was like, "All right, weird, whatever." So I turned off my light and I went back to bed, and I went back to sleep, and it was probably, I mean, hour or 2 later, it was still dark, and something came flying out of my closet again. And I was like, I didn't know what to do, but I was like, not afraid of ghosts, but I was kind of aware that there was a presence in our house. And I was just like, "Hey, please stop." And then I didn't hear anything else. So I think we should just be polite with ghosts and maybe they'll leave us alone. I don't know.
They're just there to play. They're just there to have a little fun, throw things around, or I don't know.
They just want to have a good
They're just trying to have fun.
Yeah, unfinished business or just trying to have fun. And um, any other ones we want to go through, and maybe we'll play the. I
What
actually
about you?
titled it.
Do you have
Go
any?
ahead, go ahead.
No, do
I
you
wish
have
I
any?
had any. I wish I had it. Don't have any. Just like
What about you,
I
Ryan?
feel
Do
like
you
I
have
want to
any?
search.
I feel like everyone has one.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't have a paranormal experience per se, but like I mean, I volunteer at a church, so like when you close up and the kids are not closing up, so it's just all the adult volunteers. Once it gets dark in there, you're like, oh, this place is now really super unsettling to be in. Yeah. So no, nothing specific has happened, but just that feeling of like something's going to happen, and then you get out, nothing did, but there's always that feeling of it for sure.
You know what? Something just popped in my mind, and you guys can tell me if it was paranormal or not. I swear, it just came to me. It just came to me. Okay, it was happening in 2019, and I was working at a golf course. And working the golf course, I got in like a little like Jeep, so we'll all be bunched up in like our hey Andrews, go do this, go this side of the golf course, huge golf course, but it'd be like 4 in the morning, pitch dark, just except for the main area. We'll get in our Jeeps and everyone will head out in certain spots, and I was alone going into a whole direction, going by one of the because I think sometimes we'll just clean up garbage or check certain areas. I remember being so far away from everyone and just driving the car. You can see the moon, and I'm turning, and I see everyone kind of the lights going around, and it's like I didn't see nothing. But I had a little light near me, and there was like a little light pole. I remember it's very dark, and I get out, so I'm grabbing some stuff. But I guess I could say it was probably the most scariest moment of my entire life. And I just remember, like, I swear, man, it just came to me like something was there with you, and you look and I look around, and oh man, it was just very scary. Something was moving, and I know they're deers and things like that, but it felt like something else. I had a flashlight. I kind of looked. I didn't see anything, but
Did you get like a feeling of goosebumps?
yes, I felt like it was it was cold, and it just felt like something was just there. I just remember like you felt this very scary feeling, and I actually jetted. I ran to the Jeep. I jumped in the Jeep, but when I jumped in, I put the pedal, like I pressed it really fast, and I was just flying through like puddle of water, and I just remember how it felt, and it felt like something was actually following you, and I kept looking back, and I kept looking back, but I've never had a feeling like that in my entire life where like there was a presence of something with you, but I still looked at the flashlight and there was nothing there.
Like someone was watching you.
Watching you, but it felt like it was just right next to you at the same time. Again, it was cold. It was early in the morning, but it was one of those like really warm in the middle of the summer, like middle July. No, it was like early August. I just remember having the worst, most frightful feeling ever, and it was just that moment. I never had nothing else before. It was just that time. Remember jumping in. I almost felt like I was like, "Ugh," like I actually did some like scary sound. I just jumped in, pressed the pedal, and took off like crazy. And I went to go look for my guys. I got a little lost, and I finally found them. I didn't say nothing. I didn't want to act like a little sissy, like, hey guys, I saw something, or whatever. But I don't know. It just felt like something was there, like a dark. Could have been like a dark image or something. But I know there were deers around it, like I was saying. But I think I would have seen it with the flashlight that I had. But either way, I guess I could say. What do you guys think? Could that have been something paranormal like?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You think so?
No, I mean, you mentioned feeling the chill and just feeling a presence. And I don't, some spirits, some ghosts just aren't strong enough to form, in a way that you can see them. It's just a feeling or the orbs.
Hmm.
Yeah, like something like that.
Or cold
Or
spots.
cold spots even. Yeah, and, you mentioned being cold.
And it
I mean,
wasn't
I'm
that cold right away. It just as I got into
yep.
the part of the field, and when I got out, is where it felt like you were just cold, like more colder. But it just felt like something wanted to chase me. It just felt
Yeah.
like that. So
I mean, I'm not an expert. I don't have any equipment. We can't get out there or
Yeah.
anything, but
we're
As
gonna
much as
have
we
to go.
want to.
Let's
right.
get some equipment, guys.
No.
Let's
Yeah,
spend some
I'd
time.
say there was something there. Just my opinion, which means nothing, but
Joe, what do you think?
I think it could have been something, but I don't think maybe it wanted to chase you. I think it just wanted to make itself known, and maybe that's why it got so close to you, so it could tell somebody that it's there. You know?
Okay, yeah. Man, I just remember how most of my nights, and I hated working there after that day and having to do the same thing every morning, but it only happened once. And all the other times, the mornings, as I was lost in all the darkness and checking out the, what do you call those? I forget the names. Where those pits where they have the
Oh, the tea or
the teas, yeah, they have them. So my job was to check them for any debris early in the morning, and just drive around the Jeep. But it was just only that one time I felt like I was at the presence with something, and then just freaked out, and I freaked out. So that's it. All the other times I was always slightly scared, but not like that moment. Yeah, that just hit me. That just hit me as Ryan was talking. It just came back to me. I was like, holy moly. Now I'm thinking about it now. I don't want to go back to that place again. Just thinking about it. And the season ended, and I ended up. That was it for that job. Well, actually, I got injured. Something that I was out for like a couple weeks, and then I didn't go back. But anyway, yeah, that was. I guess I could say that was an experience that I've had. But I'm actually gonna go into some more other things I've been doing. But in the meantime, anything else you want to say, Joe, before we head off with the short clip?
No, I think I'm ready for it.
All right. The short clip was the part that's not in me and Joe. We went out to the Gilbert Simmons Library in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and right where you guys live in Kenosha, right?
We live in Racine.
you're from Kenosha, though.
I am from Kenosha.
So you guys live in that direction. I live right in Illinois, but our job is in Kenosha. And either way, we met up at the library. I actually started doing some research, and I actually had the book called Haunted Kenosha.
Cool.
And
Cool.
I actually I already read up to halfway where I learned a lot of history regarding the town, from the library to the Kemper Center. I'm going to talk about the Kemper Center in a second, and the cemetery. The other half of the book I'm going to save for next year. I just feel like I just did enough research. But anyways, I will go into that. We're going to go into the short clip, and then I'm going to talk about a little bit of research that I've done in town. All right, let's, where is it? I called it Joe's Dream. Just that's the title. Here it is. I wanted to ask you a question about one of your experiences. You've had several experiences.
I've had a couple, yeah. So,
Give us a good one, or whatever, or save the best for then, or what do you want to tell us today?
well, I think the one that freaked me out the most was I was having a dream, and I don't remember like the specifics of the dream, but I was laying down on a hard surface, and I was dying, and I don't know why I was dying. And this woman, I didn't know who she was or where she came from, but she was sitting next to me, and she was holding my hand as I was dying, and she was just staring at me in the eyes. And then I jolted awake, and I was laying in bed, and I couldn't move, and she was still sitting next to me holding my hand. And then she got up, and I could see her like walk out my door, and then right into the wall going outside
So
of my apartment.
You woke up
I woke up.
and you could see.
I could see her sitting there on my bed. And it was kind of like a newer apartment, so I didn't know like really much about the history of the apartment. But it just felt, I had like an episode of sleep paralysis where you wake up in the middle of a dream suddenly and you can't move, but you can still see things that are going around you. You can't move, you can't talk, you're just lying there still, and you're scared. Most people are scared. I was, because I didn't know who that woman was. But as soon as she was gone, I could move again.
Well, it sounds a little trippy, as soon as she's gone, you're able to recuperate, get back up.
But yeah, that was the experience that kind of freaked me out the most.
Joe, you want to say anything about that clip?
I still vividly remember her.
Can you, if you wanted to sketch her, could you sketch her?
No, I can't sketch for the life.
That was
Be a nice stick figure.
Yeah, it would be a nice stick figure.
yeah, tell me about it. Maybe I'll sketch it for you. That was pretty interesting too, and I liked the setting for us. We were there at the library. We met up there. It was cold as heck there. I was there after talking with Joe and saying, hey, let's do the show and things like that. I started going around. I bought the book Haunted Kenosha. I went to this bookstore nearby, and I did some research on the library itself. So I wrote down some notes, and I'm just gonna kind of go through some quick ones. And I went to a 2-day thing where the night before they gave us a tour of the entire library. It was built it started to be built in 1890, and they finished it in the 1900s. It was Zalman Simmons who had, named it after his young son. I think he was about 38 when he passed. So he named it after his son Gilbert Simmons. So either way, some experiences that people have been feeling, and it said that it was built over a burial chamber. Supposedly, Gilbert Simmons, with the name of the library, he's buried underneath it, and so is the founder, or the one who had it built, his father too as well. That's just the stories that were said. It's not, I can't really, there's no official word on that, but it's just things I've been reading. But I went to talk to people that day before that Saturday I was with Joe, and people were talking about their experiences and what they went through. And I got these notes here. Let's see. Just go down to it. There was a night that the security system started acting up, where the keypads to enter a security code to close the building. They could not enter it. They just couldn't. It just wouldn't work then. And the employees, because that's on the first floor, and on the top floor they heard a sound of a wooden chair sliding across the marble floor on the second floor. It's like a chair just sliding across the upper stairs. So they checked and they saw nothing, and so nothing was moved. And then they would hear a mysterious, some mysterious sounds of tapping noises, like tapping again on the upper stairs. But they would hear it. They explained it in all directions. They would just hear it there and hear it there. So they just, it's like saying they say it was true. They say they experienced it, and I believed it. I was just kind of like, okay, so there. And somebody else also went into. They explained it that 5 years after that happened, it's a different person, different clerk. They were also hearing. Well, they were hearing light footsteps coming up, upstairs. The falling on bookshelves. It sounds like a Ghostbuster movie, but yeah, they said they heard stuff falling over, books and things like that. And then a woman was actually washing her hands. One of the workers there. And this is this usually they said happened after hours. She was washing her hands, and the sink, and then someone from the side said, "Excuse me," and then they turned around and no one was there. This is all within the same area of the library, and different person. Let's see, they call it the unseen woman. Let's see, another employee.
I
Oh,
think you
another
would run
was
with
in
that.
another employee was in the break room, and she said that someone had said you should leave now, and that's all that they said. Again, this is another person that had said that. There were times where when they're gonna close the building, that the buzzers, because even when I enter there, there's like these detectors that detect people when they walk through. Even I hear it when I pass it, but they said that they kept they looked up and something was like it was going off, so they would hear. I mean, they would see the buzzers going off, but there was no one passing through. So that's just another thing that they would say was happening. Into I don't want to sound boring, guys, but it's just kind of it all interested me a lot. Let's see, let me go kind of quick into here. And they felt like sometimes an occasion that like someone was following them. Again, another person said the same thing about the chair moving upstairs. So it's like if two different people said that, it's like what the heck's going on there? And I guess they call that words like we were. How do you pronounce it? Well, I call it what is it? Poltergeist.
Poltergeist?
Poltergeist. Yeah, like I guess it means what noisy, but it's a noisy and it's heard more than seen kind of thing. So you hear it more than you see it. A custodian there who used to work there, who was there, actually claimed that he's seen a ghostly woman walking down the hallway. So that was those are all different times, different years apart. And this is just all like from that building that we were in front of. That's what attracted me to go to there and find out. And I found the book. I asked the librarian, and she told me to check out the book and things like that. And they don't deny these things. I'll go into why I'm saying that. Let's see. I did talk about the beer chamber. Let's see. Yeah, I think I did that already. Okay, and then that was the library, the Simmons Library. But I went down the street to the Kemper Center. You guys heard of the Kemper Center at all? Anything about it, Joe?
I've heard of it. I don't know, like anything about it.
So I'll tell you, I actually just wanted to, I read the stories. I read the part of, let's say it was a school. It was like a mansion first, and it was sold off to a school of nuns, where these nuns would they would have a bunch of. Is this an all girls school? For girls to become nuns and things like that, and they call it the Ghost Nun of Kemper Hall. So let's see. They say that the nuns, it seems like nuns wander around the dormitories, and they go around the spiral staircase, and let's see. I have to get something more. Where was it at here? There was a time that a nun was going there on a retreat from another school to that school, and then she just disappeared. Like she wasn't there, and all the nuns were looking for her at the school, and then they found her. Let me see if I think I have a picture. Oh, I shut it down. You know the pictures that show the in the video that shows a lot of the water waves that I put in video clips. That's technically where supposedly it said where the nun was found a few days later, just dead, beaten. Her body was beaten a lot by the rocks on the shore, so they found her body there, and it was kind of snowy and kind of icy, but a lot of water. But they found her there, and they're saying that that's where they kind of see where these ghostly images come from in the Kemper Center. See. I wrote a bunch of stuff here. I don't know.
I remember they used to have like a haunted house that you could go through.
Say it
Oh
again.
yeah.
Kemper Center.
What did you
They
say?
at the Kemper Center they used to have like a haunted house where people could pay, and like they did it up like a haunted house, but it with the building like kind of being with the stories that it's had, like they hoped something would happen, but they had like all the flashing lights and stuff like that.
Yeah, they had it on the 7th, and I missed it. And I was trying to go there because I was like, dang it. Because I'll tell you what in a second. Here, I got the notes here that the nun who appears on and around the spiral staircase that leads up to the observatory. Let's see. And they said that another nun, had fell down to her death down the wooden staircase of the campus, or was pushed to her death. So either she was pushed or she just fell. I guess some of those deaths that happen, whether the one at the shore or the one inside in the staircase, is where these nuns appear. And when people do a lot of tours, some of the people from the tour are the ones who might, I think 2 occasions where people have said they've seen something like a ghostly figure would speak to them in, soft voice. And I think the guy said that they said to them, "I've been waiting for you," was one of the things that the guy had said, that one of the ghostly images that he saw there, loud whispers, screaming doors would close and shut, no windows open again. They even said that there were times where people felt during their tours where they felt like something was brushing up on their legs, like something like moving. Like if you had a couple of dogs in your house,
Yeah.
and you feel that because they said there were dogs that they had there in there and that had passed and they buried there. So it's kind of just things that they hear. But I actually went to the Kemper Center and just to ask a few questions, and when I asked questions about what I've heard, and I talked about that, the lady that was there denied everything. None of it's true. None of it's true. None of it's true. But articles and things I read is just all like, yes, this happened there. But then what I got from there is because she actually invited me in at that moment. She just said, "Hey, I got some paperwork for you. You know what? You want to come inside?" And I went inside, and I was like, "Yes, it was cool. This is what I wanted." It was actually the day I went to get my tires done in the morning, so I was gonna come. I came to work 3 hours late. I was only supposed to be 2 hours late, but I just went straight to the Kemper Center, and I went to work late because I just thought I was gonna pick up the paperwork. But the lady invited me in. So she gave me a tour almost of the whole building, and when I was in there, it was so old, and this building was built like in 1830s, and it was just beautiful. The wooding and everything inside there was amazing. It was gorgeous, and it felt to me, slightly spooky. Like I don't know why did I feel a little sense of being a little spooked out a little bit, but was I just scared, or was I just feeling little overwhelmed that I was there after the stories I've heard, but the lady was still denying them, but I still believed them even though she was denying them. But I get it, because right now the building was closed in 1975 to it's not for the schoolgirls, none no more. It's only for weddings and receptions and things like that there. So I get it where they probably don't want to scare off people who want to reserve the spot for their weddings because they're trying to make money. So if I go there and ask them about those things, they're going to tell me it didn't happen. I mean, there's never any major proof unless the people who just talk about it. Some people just won't believe in it. But
I know what we're getting.
I read, what I've heard, I believe it. What do you think?
I mean, a ghost dog sounds amazing. I would love to go meet a ghost dog. That sounds fantastic. Um, I mean, unless you're talking to someone who's an expert of the building, they probably won't even know about it because, on your first day at work, you're getting your briefing, you're like getting your ID, your badge, or whatever. They're not going to go, "Oh, hey, and on the 3rd floor, just, there's a ghost nun." Because how many people are going to hear that and then go, "Oh, fantastic. And then where do I put my lunch? Where's the break room?" That's not something you skip over. That's kind of something you hear and you make a life choice to either go, "Okay, I'm going to stay here and have fun with this," or, "Oh, I don't think this job is right for me. How much are you paying? Oh, that's not enough to deal with ghosts. I'm sorry."
I
I'm like, when you say, you'd have fun with that. You'd have stories and have ghost friends.
I'd make ghost cupcakes for it.
That'd be so cute. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure if any building is older than say like 20 years old, there's a pretty good chance someone has died in it. It doesn't matter if it's, an office building, a school, whatever. If it's older than like 10, 20 years old, someone's probably died in there. I mean, it just, intentional or not, someone's died in there. So, I mean, there's a good chance that there's, like,
Or
a
someone called
spirit
the
or right,
or
yeah.
someone did like a demonic ritual in
Mhm.
it. I
You
was
know
thinking, oh well, this is like a burial ground or something or whatever, and let's do this satanic ritual right here.
No, no, we're not getting involved with the satanic panic, that's not a thing. It was a thing, but it
It
wasn't a
was a
thing.
thing.
It was a thing, but it wasn't real. It wasn't real. It's not real.
It's not real. So I mean, yeah, I guess when I was there, I just think in my part at the Kemper Center, it was I love the beauty of history of the building itself and learning history of what I've been reading on the side and just I feel like I just want to go and grab some hunting equipment and go look for ghosts and stuff. Or I think this has interested me enough to do this yearly and look for new spots. I went to the cemetery nearby. I forgot the name of the cemetery. Uh,
I'm sure you could find like a lot of places because, like I was telling you, like from here, from Milwaukee to Chicago, there's a lot of history. Like there's murderers, like there's ghost stories, there's cryptids, there's gangsters, there's a lot of stuff.
Serial
yeah,
killer.
that's what you're telling me too. Is that there's so much to look forward to, and I'm even thinking of, if I have to buy some extra equipment, I got camera equipment, I got plenty of stuff, and just do some fun. I think I feel like I wish I can find something out and maybe get an experience and just like when I went to the cemetery and they call it the Cemetery Phantom. What's the name of the cemetery? Not the cemetery. Let's see. Oh, the Green Ridge Cemetery, oldest cemetery there, and I just remember driving in. I drove in, and I wanted to get out of my car and go out and walk around, but I got scared all of a sudden. Why? I just got scared. I turned around and I just drove away. I said, screw this. I'm not coming in. I wish I can go there with somebody. I want to go to that one, not the other ones. The one where the stores are at. Wasn't that one, with the whole phantom thing, and so and I even sketched. I was even sketching stuff with the cemetery and the one I want to go find and things like that. I heard the stories of Catherine Durkee and things like that. It's just like I'm interested so much that I think that I will find more things along the way.
There's
And
there's another cemetery, kind of towards
yeah,
Lake Andrea, and there's no one really there. It's kind of close to a house, but it's right next to a house. But there's no like, what are they called? Caretaker
so it's like a
for it.
24-hour kind of cemetery. You can just
Yeah,
the other one,
it's
the one where
it's
I went.
really really old. It hasn't been updated. There hasn't been like any bodies like buried there recently. It's really old.
How about the one
So
that's right by work? It's right across Walmart. I think that's
no,
24
it's
hour.
not that one.
Okay,
It's
so no.
further. It's further southeast or
Okay, yeah. So
southwest. I think.
those are things I want to get into, and as time goes, and we'll have maybe have more times to talk about this. But real quick, guys, let's laugh a little bit. Give me a second. I don't know how people have so much time to do
People
that
have too
kind of
much
stuff.
time
No,
on their
that was
hands.
great. I loved
That was
it.
awesome. Though. That was funny.
Yeah, I found that today, and I was like, man, I gotta laugh at something, and get into that. I was just like finding little clips, I was like, maybe I get them to watch this. Yeah, I wish
What
I could have
movie
told
was
you guys.
that?
What movie was that?
I don't know. I was what I'm asking because I want to watch it now.
Hold on.
Your soul
Yeah, I think I want to. Hold on, give me a sec. Give me a sec. I think I know. Where is it at?
Yeah,
Oh crap!
that's gonna be the next one.
No.
Hold on. Give me a second. I'll find out.
Man, how
Give me a
freaked
second,
out
I'll
are you
find
gonna
out.
get?
I got. I'll look at it. I'll look at my history, and it is the movie from. Oh, it's Annabelle.
That's Annabelle.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yes.
Yeah, it looked familiar.
Yeah,
That's the one that
Annabelle
freaked
and
us both out.
Yeah. Yeah. So we did take a 2-month hiatus.
Pretty much.
'Cause we watched Annabelle or one of in this series, and it scared us so bad we had to stop. Both. I mean, I'm used to
Really?
being so scared that I'm like, okay, I need a minute, but it scared him too. It just
Yeah. There
I
was,
felt it deeply, and I was like, I need to stop. Like, we need to stop for a minute. And he'd be like, well, can we record? I was like, I don't want to, think back on that.
yeah, that
Like, I
one.
just, ooh, it
That
got me.
it got to me too, and it was mostly just like one scene in the movie, just because it just hit me so hard. It was like that was very
Is
disturbing,
that you
and
saying Annabelle the movie?
and Annabelle, yeah, Annabelle.
Oh wow. Yeah, I tell you one thing. I barely seen a horror movie full through until my son made me watch for the very first time. I think I watched. It was actually about 3 weeks ago. We watched the Friday the 13th. I think it was the one from 2010 or something like that.
Oh, I see
One
that
of these-
one.
And
I know
and
what you're talking about.
I think it was the first one was made way before. I think it was the 90s. But watching that one, I want to see the original. And I was actually okay with it, but maybe I'll start getting more into these horror movies because I never really was interested in these kind of things. And now it's just kind of, I mean, I love zombie stuff, zombie movies. Like the new Resident Evil is coming out. It's actually the true version of Resident Evil, not the one that were made before. This is based on the game. But anyways, it's just, it's interesting. Hold on. Let me see. I got one more real quick. See if you can catch where this is from.
The Alien.
Yeah. Easy. Easy. That's not really much of a horror movie, do you think?
It can be.
I feel like it is.
It's like a horror
I'm
sci-fi
curious.
mashup kind of.
She thinks it is, and I don't think so. That's how.
We've
That's how
had
most.
a lot of those.
Yeah. Like we did one. It was called Parasite,
Yeah.
and she brought it up as like a horror movie, and to me it wasn't. It just was just some people freeloading off of a rich family, but we did it anyway because it was her turn to choose the movie. Yeah, I didn't think it was much of a horror movie.
It won a Emmy or whatever as a horror movie.
I got what we'll do, we got about we're getting close to closing. We're almost at that hour. But I want to show you guys something real quick. This one was put together by my guy Master Sword Music. He tends to put like music and he throws in a quick beat into it, so he wanted me to show it tonight. So I'm gonna show his intro for a second and then put in his 2-minute video. He actually I like the way he does his music, so I'll play this real quick.
Master Sword Music.
made by Master Music. I like the way he mixed that. You know, it's not much, but you can feel the beat. You guys ever played that game before? That we just
Oh.
mentioned.
No, but we know what game it was.
Yeah, so just kind of he throws in that beat, plays it there. Do you guys have any favorite horror games?
I think we talked about it last time I was on your podcast. I like Resident Evil 2, the original one.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah. Ryan, what about you?
Uh, I mean, similarly, I did enjoy the GameCube version of the first Resident Evil. I did try a few of them, and I didn't hang in for the series long enough for it to get to 4 on GameCube. And I think I kind of like burnt myself out. There's I don't know. There's just something about like the way the character controls in that like the older ones, I was not feeling that. But my actual favorite horror game would probably actually be Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness. Okay, that's a pretty good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, it wasn't so much like it was terrifying. It was more just like it was messing with you constantly. Like one of the conceits of the game is like you're playing and your characters will gradually lose sanity. So then you might like walk into a bathroom and there's this tub that's filled with blood and this dead girl's in it. But that's not actually happening. Like then the screen will flash and there's nothing in there the whole time. Or like you'll think you're making progress and then all of a sudden it's kicked you back like 3 rooms or so. Or it's just throwing tons and tons of enemies and then all of a sudden, no, none of them are real. But they were doing actual damage to you. So yeah, like, it messes with you pretty good.
Yeah, some games are pretty hard. I do love the Resident Evil series. But real quick, let's get close to closing. But I wanted to ask, do you have any more experiences, paranormal experiences that you've had, Joe? Or did you?
Not really. Those were like the only two. I wish I had more. I want to have more.
Tell me about the Bray Road Beast. We talked
Oh, the
about it.
Beast of Bray Road. So, Bray Road is a stretch of road, in Wisconsin, and there have been like sightings and storytellings of a giant like wolf-like creature that would like lurk on the sides of the road and sometimes even jump out in front of in the road. And a lot of people have seen it. Me and my dad actually drove down that road, and I thought I saw it on the side of the road, but he didn't stop. I wouldn't have either, but I'm pretty sure I saw something like really big on the side of the road.
I
So
think I
that was
want
my
to.
experience with that.
I want to do it's that's I wonder was it in my book, but that's one thing I want to kind of go more into searching something for next year or later on, just as I read my book. And I mean the one here with Haunted Kenosha, but I don't think it was in Kenosha. I think it was further out. But even in the surrounding area, I want to get more involved with that. Let's see, what do you guys have planned for, in terms of, do you guys plan your next episode later on this year? When you guys want to, yeah, you guys gonna kick back, start the podcast soon, or you guys gotta?
Trying to hopefully like the next couple of weeks here we'll start doing it up again soon.
Yeah, I mean, as far as future plans go, we do have,
A nice
a
list,
couple.
a nice list of
We
movies.
have a good list of movies. We have topics for like mini-sodes. I'd like to maybe when when we don't have to worry about the pandemic anymore, do some traveling to some
Mhm.
haunted places, do some exploring there, maybe do
That'd be
interviews with
cool.
people.
Nice.
Um, we just kind of have to actually do it.
Yeah, and also we'd like to start having like guests on our show too. Like instead of maybe me, it'll be Emily and a special guest, or me and that special guest, and kind of go through it and have different people on.
Or maybe
That's
have,
cool.
friends on talking about their ghost story. Because, like I said, everyone has, well, maybe not you, Ryan, but most people have a story, dealing with the paranormal, either a prophetic dream or, having an encounter with a spirit or a cryptid or something like that. I feel like most people have one, and it's cool to hear. I don't know. Some people think it's
Hmm.
boring, but I like to hear about it.
Yeah, we got a few plans already for that.
Yeah, I do know that the pandemic is kind of pushing a lot of things. Even for kind of like I spent the last few weeks just trying to. I wanted to start looking for more things to do later this year, and I did nothing the last few weeks. I was just so busy working, and it's just a lot of things just kind of held back that I wanted to do then. I'm doing now. So just even for the podcast itself, like I only got 2 weeks. I got the voice of Andy, and at the moment nothing else. I might get John Stalker back for a Christmas thing. John Stalker is the one who did a lot of voices for like he did voices for like Ghostbusters and things like the X-Men and all that back then. He did the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. He played Toad, so he did a lot of things. I had him before several times, so that's something I might do later with him. Depending if I was talking to you guys, seen the movie The Christmas Story? Little boy Randy, the one who gets his face stuffed in all the mashed potatoes. So he's about my age now. So I was talking to him. So I'm
That's
really
so
like, God, please. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like he's talking back. But I even spoke to, I think I mentioned to Ryan. I started talking again recently to the actor who actually plays Shredder from the original Ninja Turtles movie. I talked to him again. So it's just kind of like little childhood
Yeah.
things from the past. I'm going back to just if it didn't we were gonna have him twice, but then third time's a charm because I'm sure he's not busy anymore. But I'm gonna talk back to the original Donatello from the Ninja Turtles original movies 1 and 2. He called. We talked on the phone a few times, so it's just kind of just trying to go back to those guys, where kind of we all grew up with, back in the day. Because I like grabbing those guys. I mean, trying to grab people some things from now, people are not willing to, but I think we'll get there, eventually. But anyways, let's get let's see. Just for those who are watching again, so you guys can see back in the description, you'll see Horror Hang Time. You'll see their Twitter link. You'll see their Instagram, and you'll see their podcast Apple. Right there, you'll see all their links there, so you can find them for future episodes. And if you find again, when you guys find me on Twitter, you'll see that we'll be collaborating together. I'm sure when they do some tweets, even if you do a simple post or something, I'm going to retweet it, and then we'll kind of work together from there. Even though I'm not going to be working in the same job as right now, me and Joe work in the same place right now. I'll be moving to a new location. We're going to stay in touch, and we're going to keep on progressing from here. So I know you're going to miss me, Joe. I mean, you're going to miss it every time you ask me. Hey,
It's gonna break my heart, man.
I know. I won't be able to push all the boxes for you anymore, and because you're shipping. He's always shipping stuff. I'm like packing, put the box there, but I'm always like busy, and he asked me to push it, and I won't be doing that for you no more, Joe. Sorry. But either way, we are gonna stay connected, and either way, I'll have some content soon in a few weeks. Next week is the Midwest Gaming Classic. I think everyone should go. For anyone who's into gaming, it's a big, giant, one of the biggest expos in the Midwest. It's going to be in Milwaukee, Midwest Gaming Classic. I'm going to be going there, meeting up with some big YouTubers and things like that. So I'm going to head there and do some recording and play some games. And it's only like $25 entrance. I paid like $400 for my stuff. I bought like this big package for me and my son. We're getting all this stuff, but sweaters and shirts and whatever. But I get a free drink, and whatever. But either way, it's just fun stuff I'm going to be doing. But in the meantime, we do have November 13th. We have the voice of Andy from Toy Story. I still think I think it's very big for the podcast itself. And you guys, if you guys want to, if you guys have time, it's going to be a Saturday. On a Saturday, I'll tell you the timing. So you guys are invited to be with us that night. That day. If you guys have any questions for John Morris, his name is John Morris. You guys ever seen all the Toy Story movies?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Try it, everyone.
So, and I know that we cried and I think in the third one, John, when Andy's saying goodbye to Toy Story
Yeah.
and all that.
Oh yeah.
And the same actor did it when he was a kid, and also did the teenage voice for him. And so, but yeah, I still think it's a special part in our hearts where we feel those movies. And even though he wasn't as big as, you think he's not as big as Tom Hanks or who was the other guy who played Woody?
Woody
Allen.
Yeah, but he's actually as big as they are because Andy was we were there since the beginning years ago, and even our kids, if our kids have seen it, my kids have, and so if you guys again, you guys can come along, and you guys are invited that day. You let me know. I'll remind you, Joe, and see if you're interested to join that night. If you
Yeah,
guys
for sure.
if you guys have questions for him that night, I am giving off. We do have autographs that night that he's going to be doing for us. And either way, I think it'll be a fun night. But in the meantime, this was a great time to have a horror hang time as we got to know them. And, hopefully we'll see them in future episodes with us here in the Gamerz Realm. Either way, just I kind of strayed away from gaming at the same time. So I'm wondering, do I have to rebrand the name? But no, I want to stay into gaming sometimes. But I see like we're doing more voice actors, more different things. And I like doing these different things. This is something horror-like, something for the Halloween season, and so we'll see where it goes from there. It'll probably be a little bit of gaming here and there, but I won't be doing any video gaming anymore. It's just more officially of a podcast. I'm doing a lot of YouTube shorts, things like that. But other than that, let's stay connected. And thank you guys. I want to thank first Ryan for being a co-host. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Always a good time to be here.
Yep, and I want to thank both of you guys at Horror Hang Time for joining us tonight. It was an honor to have you guys here.
Yeah.
Having us. It was so much fun.
Do you guys have any last finishing words before we close out? No, wait. What did you say, Joe? I didn't hear you.
But I got nothing.
You have another scary story to tell us?
What?
Please do.
Good. I forgot to do one thing. I forgot to talk about my boy Justin, real quick. Justin, I had him on the podcast for like an employee kind of thing, just to hang out with employees, and he might be. Hope he doesn't get mad. This is his dope picture right here. Justin, he actually made this, and he made this for the podcast. Let me
Nice.
Let me get myself real quick. He made this. Can you guys see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually painted this. It's actually, if I touch it, it's still wet. It's been a couple of weeks old, and it's just kind of. Yes.
Looks like it's
slightly
dripping
still
a
wet.
little bit too.
What?
It looks like it's been dripping a little bit too.
Yeah, and
Nice.
it's fine. It's just like yeah, it looks like
That's
it's just
character.
Yeah.
it's just finishing. So this is the first time someone has ever done anything for the podcast, and I really appreciate Justin for doing this. And it's actually gonna go. Let's see, where it's in the big blue wall back there. It's gonna be there moving forward. So I want to thank him very much for that, and and I'm sure his girlfriend had what's her name? Is her name Jennifer?
Jennifer, yeah.
Yeah, for them, for that night we had a good chill talk. But again, for Justin for creating that awesome piece there for the podcast. But in the meantime, again, I'm gonna end off with let's see, let me find the outro if I can find it real quick. I'm just gonna end out with your theme song. And right when the theme song is over, I'm gonna end the podcast, and you guys can either jump out at that time, or you can wait, and then we can say goodbye, or however you want to do it. But either way, this is goodbye to everyone who's watching and who will be watching in the future of this episode, because I am gonna be retweeting this moving forward for the next few weeks. Until next time, we'll see you guys all. And then we'll see you guys in 2 weeks for Gamerz Round with what's his name again? John Charles Morris for the voice of Andy. Okay, so this is me, Ryan, and Horror Hang Time. All right, guys, take care. If I can find it, where is it? Oh, here it is.